Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today I'm once again in this crazy location. Cat. Oh, sorry. Um, Today we have a knife review, and that is of this big guy. This thing is way too gnarly. This is the Benchmade Crooked River. The Benchmade Crooked River. Now, what can I say about this thing? Oh my goodness. I just feel so manly. Anyways, let's get into it. So, the overall length is 9.3 inches. The blade length is 4 inches. The blade thickness is 0.12 inches thick. The handle length is 5.33 inches. The handle thickness is zero point 0.6 inches thick. So, pretty thick handle. And the overall weight for this guy is 5.41 ounces. So, oh my goodness. If I ever wanted, I mean, obviously there are tons of big knives out there, but to have a knife like this, I mean, typically my sweet spot for knives is around 3 inches, kind of an urban EDC folder. This is definitely a full-size, big grip hunting knife for any of you guys out there. But really cool, really done very well. And we'll talk about some of the variations with this knife from Benchmade, as well as showing some of the other hunt line knives from Benchmade. So pretty cool, pretty exciting, and pretty awesome. So taking a look, we have kind of this classic buoy clip point design here with that swedge on the clip there. It is a plain edge. Feels like a flat grind. I believe it's a flat grind. Plain edge, that classic straight, and then up with the belly at the tip. A very nice piercing tip because of that clip point and that swedge. And it's kind of, it has that nice saber grind there too. So really cool satin finish. And then the branding on it is the Benchmade logo. If I can read the number there, it is, let's see, 150. It's right on the curve. 15080-1, which I believe is the model. So this comes in two different variations. We either have the gray G10 handle scale here, or it would come with a diamond wood handle like on the North Fork here. So I would have liked to have had that one, but either way, it doesn't take away from the functionality. It just adds a different look to it. So this has a little bit more of a contemporary, modern look to a kind of classic buoy style hunting knife. So then moving into the handle, there's no jimping on top of the blade. We do have dual thumb studs for left and right hand opening. It is using the Benchmade axis lock, so it makes it an ambidextrous knife all around, which is really nice for any of you lefties out there. Gotta love Benchmade's axis lock for that reason. Moving into handle, we have that ricasso there, or that kind of sharpening choil. And then we have some anodized aluminum bolsters, silver, just to add a different look and texture. And then it finishes out in a barely textured G10. It's fairly flat, but it kind of has that kind of wood grain look to it. If you look up closely, we have the axis lock, axis pin there, or the locking pin. We have a very substantial, large locking pin, or a stop pin there. And then we do have a recessed jimping into the liners or the scales. We have a very nice anodized orange accent around the pivot pin on both sides. And then towards the butt end, we have a pocket clip, split arrow, that is reversible, right side, left side, tip up only. And then we have this awesome bright orange, kind of a hunting blaze orange G10 back spacer. When you look inside, the actual liners are heavily milled out, which helps lighten the load because otherwise this would be a much heavier knife. And I always like it when knife companies do a really good job of milling out the liners just to save weight. Makes it a little bit more efficient. And like I said, back to that orange backspacer. If you're out hunting, and a lot of us, we want knives that blend in with the surroundings. You don't want anything loud and noisy. But if you're going hunting, you pay a lot of money for knives. And if you were to drop this thing out in the woods, having that nice bright orange as a pop of color will help you just find it in case you drop it. So I do like that. I thought that was a smart idea. It might take away a little bit from the overall look of the knife, but if you're going to have this and use it as a user, and you're taking it out in the woods and you're actually using it to process game or a deer or anything like that, you'll appreciate the fact that you have something that'll make it a little bit easier to find if you drop it. So pretty cool. The other thing I really like, it terminates into a very large kind of oval lanyard hole there, in case you want to almost even double up paracord. It'll definitely easily take paracord or any other cord you would hope to use out there, so it's nice that they have a large hole there. So that being said, oh yeah, blade steel is Benchmade's S30V. I feel like they've gotten better with their S30V. At times it seemed a bit softer, and they didn't really get the heat treat down right, but this knife seems more than good with the S30V. So comparing it to some other knives, we have the Kaiser Sovereign, an awesome kind of budget-friendly large folder. We also have the Benchmade Casbah. We have the Bird Raven 2. Absolutely love this knife. Great knife for the money. And I think that's it. We'll just use those three because I'll compare it to some other knives. So looking at handle length, obviously this knife has a 4-inch blade, so we're going to have a lot larger handle. Two, I think the reason why they kind of had such an extended handle is knowing that people might be using this out in the woods and out in the wilderness. Prime hunting season for deer, as far as the rut goes, is in October, November, so it starts to get cold, especially in the upper Midwest. And if you're in the mountains, hunting caribou, whatever, you want something where you might be able to have to use gloves. So having a full-length handle makes that a little bit easier. So it pretty much beats out all the other handles by at least a ½ an inch. Blade length as well, it's about a ½ an inch longer than the closest knife, which would be the Sovereign. So it's cool in that regards. Moving into an actual comparison of blade thicknesses. Looks about the same as the Sovereign. Handle thickness wise looks about the same as well. Going in with the Casbah, it looks pretty similar. I almost want to say the Crooked River is slightly thicker. Handle wise, it's pretty close as well. And then going into the Raven 2, you can see that the Raven 2 is actually just a hair thicker in blade stock, and then handle thickness is about the same. Once again, looking at the grip, I wear large size gloves, and I actually have a fairly wide hand across the palm, and you can see that there's still plenty of real estate left for getting a grip. So if you're definitely a larger person and you need a bigger gripped knife, or you're just tired of running out of real estate for your hand, this might be a great option for you, because there's plenty of places to get that grip on. So it's pretty cool. The axle slack works fine. Really nice, very nice, well made. Feels really, like I said in the beginning of the video, I just feel manly. I don't know, something about it. That being said, just to show off some of the features and designs with some of the other hunt line, I got two other knives here. So overall motifs from the knives, the hunt line, they all kind of share similar features. Not so much with the North Fork, but you can see that they all have S30V blade steels. They're all designed for purposes as far as processing game and spending a day out in the field hunting, or even back at base camp. They share a split arrow pocket clip between the folders. The orange G10 handle scales on the Nestucca matches the orange G10 of the back spacer. And then if you look at all of them, they share this same kind of boxed, checkered back. So it all kind of relates in that regard, which is kind of neat. And then the lanyard hole on the North Fork has that oval, the same, maybe a little bit smaller, but still shares that oval-shaped lanyard hole as well. So, pretty cool. Really like these knives. The Hunt series of knives, if you are getting into Benchmade knives, are a great series to check out because they tend to be a slight bit cheaper compared to some of the other models. They have some cool fixed blades right around the $100 mark at the time of this video too. So definitely check out the Hunt series of knives from Benchmade. Really cool. And oh yeah, last test, the ugly brown glove test. Let's check it out. So we have the ugly brown glove test. Now I figure if you're out hunting, you're probably not going to use an ugly brown glove. You'll probably have some really cool leather gloves. But the thumb stud's easy enough to find. There really isn't much texturing on the scales and the bolster, so it's really smooth in that regard. And there isn't a very deep choil anywhere. I mean, we got grooves that lock it in, and then the recessed jimping here, I can feel it, but it really doesn't lock it in. So it actually squeezing fairly hard, and it's still fairly slick. So a little disappointed in that regards, but like I said, careful. I can deploy it. I can access the axis lock. Like I said, it's a little slick in hand. So I'm gonna try one other glove. These are a leather mechanics gloves. Might be more reminiscent of what people would actually wear out. And once again, the texture is really, wish there was some texturing to it. So yeah, does it pass? Not really. Unfortunately, I can't say it really passes. You know, I don't know what grades are anymore. I'd say like maybe 60% on the ugly brown glove test. I don't know if you consider that a D, but I mean, I can access it, I can open and close it, but other than that, pretty poor. So on the ugly brown glove test, 60% needs work, could definitely do better. So there you guys have it. Check out this knife, really cool, would be great in the collection. If you're using rubber gloves or your own hand grip, this will be fine, but still a really cool knife, would be great for people with larger hands and great in the outdoors for hunters. So check out these other two videos. Click that big round logo button, click the eye in the upper right hand corner. Check out some of my other videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you outside. Thank you.